Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Movie Reviews. I've got a few guests in the studio with me today. I've got my son Tristan, my daughter Chloe. You guys want to say hi?
Hi. Hello there.
Why don't you scoot back a little bit, Chloe, so we can see your face a little better. There we go, that's good right there. Anyway, today we're going to do a review for you on a 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes. Now, this is not a bad film. I'm usually not a big fan of remakes. This is not as good as the original 1977 version by any means, but as far as remakes go, this is actually a pretty good movie. It's the basic story of it. You've got the Carter family, Bob and his wife Ethel, with their daughter Lynn and her husband Doug and their baby, and their two younger children, Bobby and Brenda. They're on their way to California, specifically to San Diego to vacation, and they're traveling through the New Mexico desert. They stop at a gas station. When they fill up, the tenant gives them directions to a road that he tells them will cut about 2 hours off their trip. Now, what they don't realize, and we find out shortly after, is that this gas station attendant is actually in cahoots with a family that's living out in the desert in one of the old government nuclear testing towns where they used to test nuclear bombs, and they've been there since the 50s, and because of exposure to high radiation and some inbreeding, this family is basically nothing more than a bunch of mutants at this point, and it turns out they're cannibalistic mutants. They put spike sticks in the road to blow the tires out of the Carter family's truck and the trailer that they're pulling behind it, the camper, and they end up stranded in the middle of the desert. Bob and Doug split up and go in opposite directions looking for help, and they leave Bobby, Brenda, Lynn, and Ethel back at the camper. That's when the family dogs run off. Bobby goes after them. I like the names of the dogs. You've got Beauty and Beast, classic names.
Yeah.
Beauty ends up getting killed. Bobby finds her corpse, and he can tell that she's been cut open. It wasn't an animal attack. She was cut open and gutted, and he knows that there's somebody hiding in the hills. By the time he gets back to the camper, he realizes he doesn't want to upset his mother and his two sisters, so he keeps that to himself for the time being. Doug ends up showing back up after a few hours. After it gets dark, Bob still hasn't returned. We find out that he was attacked at the gas station by some of the members of this mutated family, and when they start to attack the camper and the rest of the family to cause a diversion, they have Bob tied to what looks like a Joshua tree, and they set him on fire while the others rush out to save Bob and try to put the fire out and save his life. They go in the camper and they basically rape the youngest daughter, Brenda, and they're about to take the baby when Lynn comes in on them. She tries to fight them off, and they end up killing her. Then Ethel comes in. She ends up getting killed. And of course Bob dies because there's no way they can put the fire out before he burns to death. And this leaves only Brenda, Doug, and Bobby to face this family of insane cannibalistic mutants. Now, I'm not going to tell you any more than that. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it already, or you haven't seen the 1977 original, this is a movie I would recommend. The only drawback to this film, I think the thing that makes it not as good as the original, is the fact that it is a high-budget Hollywood remake. Therefore, it comes across much more polished, and it doesn't have that gritty documentary look to it like the original film did, which kind of takes the edge off of it just a little bit. But other than that, I think, like I said, as far as remakes go, this was a wonderfully done job. And I'm going to stop there, and I want to ask my son first, Tristan, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was a pretty good movie. I didn't think it was
really that scary. I thought it was weird. It was weird. There was some scary parts, but other than that, it was more weird than scary. But it was a pretty good movie.
What was your favorite part of it?
I like the final fight scene when he's trying to get back where Doug's trying to get the baby back.
Okay, don't say no more than that. We don't want to ruin it for them. We want
Yes.
people to get the movie and see it for themselves. But I know what you're talking about. That's a good scene. What about you, Chloe? What'd you think of it?
I thought it was good, and it was also really gross too.
Yeah, this movie does have a lot of gore to it. It's a little more gory than the original version. And if you're a gore fan and you like jump scares and a lot of suspense, this movie's got a little bit of everything for you. So no matter what type of horror fan you are, you should enjoy this film. So go on, honey. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What else?
That's fine.
You got anything else you want to say about it? What your favorite part about it was?
My favorite part is the final fight scene.
Okay. Well, they seem to be in agreement that the final fight scene was their favorite part. I don't really have a favorite part. I just think the movie was good in total. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this review of The Hills Have Eyes remake. It came out, and until next time, you all take care.
Bye.